Hey everyone, I'm your host Roddy Merritt,
And I'm Cody Russell.
and welcome to the Spaceman podcast presented by Merritt Productions. If you've ever wondered what really goes on behind the scenes of Merritt Productions, Mississippi's fastest growing production company and marketing agency, well, this is where we tell it all.
From creative strategy to cutting edge content, from high profile campaigns to the late night grind, this podcast is your all access pass to the world of Merritt Productions. We're talking stories, challenges, wins, and everything in between. The work, the people, the passion, this is how we make it happen.
Whether you're in the industry, on the grind, or just curious about what it takes to build a powerhouse brand, welcome to the Spaceman podcast. Hey guys, Roddy Merritt here,
And I'm Cody Russell.
and this is Spaceman Podcast. So we got three of the owners of Waze Energy in today. Thank you guys for coming. We're going to talk a little bit about what they do, what Waze Energy is. But first, story time and talk about how we met. I think that I had walked into a local store and I saw a small little sticker on the door that said Waze Energy sold here. And I was interested, saw one of the cans, kind of picked it up, saw what the mission was. As somebody that has a huge heart for vets, helping veterans, I kind of love that. So I was like, oh, yep, buying that. Same reason I buy Black Rifle coffee or anything else that has any kind of support for veterans. So I bought it, and it was very good. And I was like, oh, I love this. And then I was doing an event coming up called Hangover, which it's hosted by our local Commemorative Air Force wing here that I'm a member of. We've been doing it for 6 years. And I was like, oh, it'd be cool to get these guys on board. I'd love to work with them. I love the mission and that sort of thing. And I now remember how I got your information was Nate, what's Nate's last name?
West.
Nate West, local, I want to call him a celebrity. He is a celebrity. He's on the radio and stuff. Nate and I go way back because of radio stuff. I saw that you guys had worked with him and he'd give you some shout outs and stuff like that. So I reached out to him. He gave me your contact. And now here we are working together a little bit, doing some fun social media stuff, doing some pictures and some cool commercials and things like that. So you guys kind of take it away, kind of tell who you are, your names, what you do, et cetera, et cetera.
Cool. Thanks for having us. Just to tap back into Nate. Nate was a wonderful, wonderful person to meet when we met him. He came on board, and everything he did for us, the shout outs and everything he did, he never asked for anything. And that's one thing that's been very humbling to us is the company as we've grown, as we've proved ourselves in the mission. We've had multiple people come up and want to help just to be a part of what we're doing, and that's been very humbling.
That's awesome.
But anyway, I'm Luke Carnathan. I'm one of the owners of Waze Energy. 20-year military veteran, recently retired, and looking forward to doing what we can with the company to help veterans and first responders. Right now we're kind of Mississippi focused, Arizona focused, but as we gain more distribution and move, and here in the very near future, I hope to be nationwide.
Yeah. And the gentleman, this handsome devil next to you.
I'm Bubba Carnathan. I'm Luke's dad. I'm also one of the owners there in Waze Energy. I had 11 years with the National Guard in artillery. Then I had 28 and a half years with federal law enforcement. So I've got a lot of that behind me. And Luke and I have had several ventures together. And this was an idea he had one day and he brought to me, and we discussed it, and it aligned with the goals and the things that he wanted to accomplish, and we're working hard to make all of that come true.
So real quick before you introduce yourself, so Luke calls you Daddy, and so I have you in my phone as
I call him Daddy.
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 That's it. Daddy.
Daddy.
Daddy. So in my phone, I've got that in there, and so I always say that, and so I'm going to give you the shout out and thank you for bringing us some Rip Van Winkle to sip on while we have the podcast, and hopefully help us relax a little bit more because it's not so awkward. So Thank you for that.
Yeah, that works. The at the car show, I brought some Rip Van Winkle there, and I brought some 10-year, the junk stuff. But today I brought some 12-year that we're sipping on.
Yes.
So we're going to really enjoy that.
We are.
I'm Casey Stuber. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I served with Luke for we met, in 2014? I'm also an owner of Waze. Looking forward to kind of us getting out there and getting to do some cool things and help some veterans and first responders.
So real quick, who does what? Because y'all, I know you're all part owners of it, but you each kind of do different things. So I kind of want y'all to tell people like kind of what you do. Which I know, Luke, you've been like working and doing this at the same time, but kind of tell everybody like what your day-to-day looks like for the company, how you're doing what you're doing and that sort of thing.
I'm actually very proud of how we do that at Waze. We don't really have defined roles. We are a very level organization. Any information I have, everybody has, right? And we all just kind of take what we think we can handle and run with it. And we've all kind of fell into our places. I still wouldn't say we have defined roles because there's times where I reach out to Casey and I'm like, I need you to handle this, and Casey runs with it. Daddy has absolutely been the muscle of Waze Energy over the past 2 years. With me still serving and him and my Uncle Don, who's another owner of Waze, they have come together and they've handled the local side of it, the hands-on, the loading, the moving, and they just
Labor.
That's how you lost all that weight, right?
That's right.
You slimmed down.
Sweating in a warehouse.
Yeah, looking good.
It's we would be I may be the one that came up with the idea, but we wouldn't exist today without the work that those two put into it. But that's kind of who we are as a company. We've all become who we needed to be in the moment that we needed to be that person.
Yeah.
And it's we don't really have defined roles.
Yeah.
We all call ourselves owners. We don't have titles.
Mm-hmm.
There's we vote by majority when we make decisions. We don't vote with equity. It's just a very level organization, and I hope we can keep it like that for the long term.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. We obviously similar situation where this is Merit Productions, my name's on it, but we had a conversation this morning in our team meeting, was the fact that it is a team. It's a team thing. It's there's no like one person does whatever. Everybody has their own role and their own thing, and sometimes you share those roles because everybody gets busy. Sometimes one guy has to pick up where another guy can't, and that sort of thing. And I think that's important because like a lot of people don't understand how that works or how it can work. They see a bunch of owners and they think things are chaos and fighting and stuff like that. And yeah, and you guys are like a big family. I mean, I know the two of you are related, but like all the camaraderie.
No, we're family.
Yeah, exactly.
They more or less adopted me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're gonna take their last name, right?
Well, we're going to talk to my wife about that.
We do have a couple of other owners I want to mention too. We have Jeff Habit, phenomenal friend. Worked with him in a previous business venture. And I could say this about everybody. I mean, we honestly wouldn't be where we are today if we didn't have a single member of our team. We wouldn't be where we are today. Mm-hmm. We've got Jeff Habit out in Arizona, and we've got Steve Johnson. He's currently in Oregon. I met him through a previous business venture, and he was working as an executive director for another organization. And I had never seen somebody run the administrative back end of a company or an organization as good as he did.
Yeah.
And I learned, we actually had another owner early on, but I learned in previous business ventures that things are expensive, services are expensive. So as we moved into this, I tried to bring people along as owners that were invested in and brought every piece of what we needed to the table.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we have
A new
a
owner.
new owner. We'll talk about him later.
Very special new owner. Well, thank you guys again so much for coming. Luke is been living over in Atlanta, right?
Warner Robins.
Yeah, close by there in Georgia, and the rest of the team. You guys are all in Lexington or no?
No, I'm the only one that's in Lexington.
Okay,
I live in Kansas City right now.
really. Mm-hmm. So how did they get you down to Mississippi from Kansas?
Well, I'm on the Missouri side, but I come down when needed. So a lot of the stuff I've done up until this point has been like, setting up our social media and kind of some of the stuff, really maybe half-assing the stuff that you guys do very well right now. So like I said, I've remarked to Luke, you guys are incredible in that that department. But like as we've developed as a product and a team, a lot of remote stuff back and forth. There's some things when we get ready to see enhanced business traffic or something, like we just congregate and knock it out, tiger team it, so to speak. Yeah. So that's kind of why I'm here now. We expected kind of a, an increased traffic load. And so it's not fair to let Bubba sweat it out in the warehouse by himself, so.
And we met in the military. We worked together. We worked together on a professional level in the military for a long time. And once we moved, which is inevitable when you're in the military, you lose so many friends to PCSs. Not you move, you make friends, and then they leave or you leave. It's inevitable. It's just the way it works. So now that we're both retired, and we both work for the same company, we try to get together as much as we can. We were finally able to travel.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I've got a bunch of questions and stuff that I want to know that even though we've worked together, we hadn't really talked a ton about. But I'd like to hear, and I think people would like to know too. Tell me obviously this was your brainchild, and we've kind of got some videos out there about why an energy drink company, and it's because you said it best. It's like you saw a lot of people that were using them, and you wanted to offer them something that was a little bit better and give back to the people that were mostly using it, which I think is awesome. But I want to know, where did these flavors and these names come from?
Ooh,
that's a good question.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about that one.
Because I mean, to me, like because we were shooting a promo the other day, and we had some EMS workers here, and theirs is called Revive, and whenever we said that, they were both like, oh, yeah, makes sense, CPR or whatever. So, did you come up with these, or did you hire somebody to help you come up with them, or how did that work?
We brainstormed everything as a team. There is no decision that has been made in this company since its inception that did not involve every single one of us.
So can design, flavor, name, all that stuff is all you guys 100%?
All in-house.
I was going to say, we got to probably give your wife a little credit on the name there.
Now the truth comes out.
That's fair. Trish had a lot to do with the creative side of it in the beginning. Every time I come up with something, I'll come up with something and I'll put it on paper and I'll print it out and I'll give it to my wife and I'll say, tell me if this is stupid. Tell me if I messed up. Tell me what's wrong. And she's very good at looking at stuff like that and saying, this sounds a little weird. And I probably don't give her as much credit as I should, but she's right more often than I'd like to admit.
Yeah.
So
it's funny how that happens, right?
It's funny. There's 3 R words for the flavors, and then for the fourth flavor, for the military, when we cased out 10 different words with R, and we were just like, screw it.
It could have been recon.
It could have been recon, remobilize or something. We were just like, the hell with it. Let's just call it engage. It's just too hard, to make work.
So I get a lot of people asking me what's your favorite flavor? Which one's your favorite? Which one do you like? And we had this discussion the other day. For me, it depends on the time of the day. Different ones for different times of the day. Some of them feel like it's the end of the day, so I don't want something. I want something a little.
There's only one answer.
Milder. All of them?
No, it's the green can. It's always been the green can.
Really?
The brand exists because of the green can, not because of what the green can represents,
Right?
but because I loved green Otter Pops.
Now I get it. Now I get it.
The green
flavor.
can, I was looking for an excuse to use it. The green can is a literal clone of a green Otter Pop in a soda.
So how do you get that flavor? Like, what's the process of creating an energy drink?
Ooh.
Well, you wanted what flavors, or I guess what you preferred to put in a can, but how did you get an example of that?
Yeah.
Oh, we got to go back in time for that. We got to go back in time. I don't know that this has ever been publicly said before, but before the energy drink company, all three of us sitting here, we had gotten in on the vape business side of things.
Okay.
We didn't make devices and stuff like that. We made the liquid that goes inside of it. It's a really funny story. I was what was I? Was I retraining for Spectrum down at Keesler? I think so. And we had gotten into vaping. We both quit smoking, switched over to vaping.
Sure.
And
We met in the smoke pit, by the way. That's not one of that solo.
I love that.
but I was at tech school, had a lot of free time outside of class and everything else, and me and Casey were both vaping at that time, and I called Casey. I said, Casey, we need to start making e-liquid. And I remember you could hear the what the hell in his voice, you know. And he's like, that's dangerous. I mean, like pure nicotine is dangerous, and you have to handle pure nicotine to make that stuff. And I was like, no, we're fine. I watched a YouTube video. And
YouTube University.
and true friend, the next question out of his mouth was, well, what do we need to get started?
Right. Perfect.
And that was the end of the conversation. And we started that company and we ran with it. What we learned there, though, was the mixology of flavor design. And even there, we were working with all natural flavorings. I mean, these were natural flavor extracts. And we learned what the liquid base was and what percentages of flavors and everything else that needs to go into it. And then we were in Tucson at the time, and as we were going around trying to move our product there, we went to, gosh, what was the name of that place? Was it OPV? Was it Old Pueblo Vapor Lounge? And there was a guy there that we had worked with, and anyway, they had started doing some weird stuff. They were taking vape flavors, no nicotine, none of that stuff, just the flavor bases. And they were basically using a very high-end soda stream to make craft sodas out of their vape flavors that they were selling at the vape line.
That's pretty
So
interesting.
your light bulb went off.
And I mean, I think it was in hindsight that I realized that the light bulb went off, but I always remember, oh man, that was really cool.
Yeah.
You know? And
Did they ever make the drink? Or that was just for them personally?
no, they made it and sold it right there. And look, 2017, 2018, Tucson, Arizona vape industry was the freaking Wild West.
Wow.
It was nuts. We were self-managed. This was before all the laws and all the crazy stuff that happened. We had freestanding vape lounges. At this time, vape wasn't sold in gas stations.
Yeah.
Minors didn't have access to it. We self-policed. You had to be 18 to walk into the place, right? And they were selling, so the people would come in and hang out at vape lounges and vape and drink the craft sodas, and it was a whole culture, right? So that may be where the idea that says, hey, I can do more with this flavor experience stuff. So, but we backburnered it for a decade, damn near. And one of our flavors, and I'm not going to disclose which one of them it is, but one of our flavors is an exact clone of a vape flavor.
Okay, interesting.
So
We won't say what that is. Copyright.
Well, we own the rights to the flavor.
Okay,
for
cool.
what it's worth.
That's good.
It was one of the owners' flavors.
All right.
Thank goodness.
Nobody's going to sue you.
Well, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just it is what it is. But I mean, that may be where the idea was born. I don't know whether I've ever really thought about that. But I think when we first started about what was next, once we got out of that business, I think the original plan was a bourbon label. That was a little too on the nose for the community.
Too
that we were trying
straightforward.
to help.
I gotcha.
So, outside of being high functioning alcoholics, what's the next most common thing that we all have in common?
Energy drink.
Energy drinks.
Yeah, I think we learned a pretty important lesson in the vape industry too. It's like the more regulated of a market you jump into, the harder it is to be a startup. Like it's just if you can't advertise on social media, you're screwed. Like you have no hope almost.
Right.
Or you need money.
Yeah. So, not that it's a good transition, but I'm transitioning anyway. You recently had a new owner come on board. What, yesterday?
3 technically.
Oh, 3. Okay, wow. Okay, so news to me. But so I want you to it was yesterday, correct?
His official announcement was yesterday, but it was official a couple of days before that.
So I want you to kind of unpack the whole scenario situation, of course, who it is and what that means for you, but kind of talk a little bit about the business side of why you chose to go with this person and then why all of a sudden now they're more than just somebody that's advertising your drinks. They're part of the company now.
Sure. After this, you're gonna have to ask somebody else to talk for a minute. But I'll talk about that.
Well, we're going to talk about what it's meant for this man for sure, because I want to hear those stories.
No, it's for those that don't know, we have a new owner now. His name is Justin Nunley. I'm sure the greater majority of people, and especially in our niche, know who he is. And the other 2 owners are his management team, Brent and Carissa.
For those that maybe live under a rock and don't know, can you tell who Justin Danger Nunley is?
Justin Danger Nunley, as the world knows him, is a social media influencer. He is hilarious. He's famous for, did you know? Mm-hmm. And he gives us little bits of information in phenomenal ways. No pun intended. So he's a good dude. I've been watching him for years, and these guys can attest that this company, we've been commercially available for a little over 2 years now, but we've been a company for 4 years. And from day one, Nunley was the guy. Mm-hmm. He was the guy from day one. We had a lot of work to do before we could be appealing to him. And then 8 months ago, something like that, he dropped a video. This is going to sound completely unrelated, but he dropped a video about, I think it was a beard oil company. But he called it in his voice, Operation Sold. That was his whole thing. Mm-hmm. It was going to be a trend of videos that he was starting where he would highlight a veteran-owned company that he used on a daily basis. And I went, it's my chance. It's my chance. So I messaged him and I commented on his videos and just over and over and every way I could try to reach out to him as a nobody, trying to reach out. And then I sent him product and everything else. And then eventually we had a conversation with him. And that was kind of where it ended. And then no shit, out of nowhere, he did an Operation Sold video for Waze. Which I add, did not warn us that he was going to do an Operation Sold video for Waze Energy.
Yeah.
It hit us blindsided. We went from filling 10 to 15 orders a week, if we're lucky, to
544. I can tell you exactly how many it was.
in a day.
In a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was really funny. We were sitting there, and all of a sudden my phone dinged. Then it dinged again. Then it dinged again, dinged again, dinged again. I called Luke and I said, "What the hell is going on?" And he told me to watch this video. And I watched the video, and that night it was almost like a television commercial where you watch those people that have something all of a sudden on the internet that go wild. You know, it was fun. And then we're going, oh, hell. And we had nowhere near enough product on hand. I had to call my little brother in Jackson. We're loading pallets in the back of pickups. We have picnic tables in my garage, and I hired people to come, and my wife is out there, and it's cold, and we're mixing 12 packs and making boxes. It was crazy.
Yeah, and that's the good stuff. It's like when that happened, because we also were working with you guys, and I'll never forget Luke. I think you called me. I think it was that bad. And you never ever want a late phone call from one of your clients because you're just like, oh no, what did we do? How did we mess up? Right. And Luke goes, Nunley dropped the video, and I'm going to need your help. And so it was like all hands on deck, like answering comments, because most people were like, where do I get it? Where do I buy it? You had tons of other people that were like, oh, I drive a car and I want your name on it and I have this and that. It was nuts. It was absolutely, but it was, to me, I know I wasn't doing any of the work, but what we were doing, it was fun. It was.
You don't ever say you weren't doing any of the work. Do you realize?
Well, I wasn't doing the manual labor.
Do you realize what managing that situation would have been like without y'all?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
That's a good point.
We're eternally grateful.
Yeah. And but it was fun. It literally was, because you and I had a conversation, I think right around when we first started working together. I'm going to give a background, kind of a little bit of what you said to me was you and I talked about working together, and you kind of asked me what the cost was, and I told you, I said, wait, this is my base minimum. I told you what it was, and you were like,
I know where you're going.
You were like, well, I spend that in ads and I get that money back because I can spend X amount of dollars in ads and sell X amount of product. And Luke kind of gave me an ultimatum. He was like, I'll pay you what you're asking, and you have to do the same thing. And I immediately said, oh, well, that's never going to happen. I mean, I just told you straight up. I was like, that's, and I don't think a lot of people, the way you kind of took it and told me later on, was like, I don't think a lot of people would have told you that up front. But that's kind of part of how we run business. I'm just honest. And I was like, it's never going to happen. It's going to take me 3 months to do this, and I just kind of laid everything out. And somewhere along the line, we had a conversation. You're like, what can we do to scale, or what can we do to grow, whatever. And I was like, you really need to look at, like, for you guys, influencer marketing is perfect. So when you came up with this idea and you said, we got Nunley, he's going to give us a shout out, or he's going to do something. We don't know when, we don't know where, just be watching for it or whatever. And then it was like literally in the middle of the night, he makes this announcement, and everything went crazy. And it was so funny that after the fact, it was kind of like you and I had another conversation where you were like, you know what, you shot me straight, and everything lined up the way it was. And it's like, thank God somebody like actually understands. Like, it's not everyone thinks like, even if you see somebody that has like an overnight, air quotes, overnight success, most of the time it's not an overnight success. It's taken years or a lifetime to get there. And I think that's probably the thing that people don't see is the amount of hours you have into this, and then you built a team and their hours into it, and then you added us to it and the hours that we put into it. But it's
and the amount of money that we wasted to get wasted, to get to where we are. Your honesty in that moment, when I put you on the spot, and mind you, I was putting you on the spot on purpose, right?
Yeah.
So your honesty in that moment is when I knew we were going to be okay. And it's also why you'll have to fire us to get rid of us.
Yeah, it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
I think we drink our weight in product here at the office. It's I know I drink 2 or 3 cans a day, which most people go, that is insane. You shouldn't be drinking that much caffeine. And I'm like, if I didn't, I would probably sleep.
But we spent I'll just leave it at thousands. We spent thousands of dollars with much bigger companies than you that claim to do what you have done and are really good at showing me pretty graphs and reports and all that stuff on how it's all working and everything else. And
Casey's itching to
I
just
know.
jump on that microphone.
and just
see it.
months and months and months of promises and reports, no impact.
Yeah.
I was talking to Daddy not that long ago, and he said, "Man, I wish we could have not done that, just not made that decision." But the reality is all of those decisions put us where we are today, no matter what it cost us.
Yeah.
I don't know that we'd have got on board with y'all had we not
If you hadn't
been
made-
taken advantage of.
Right.
Right?
Well, I can tell you from the man that writes the check. I was writing the checks, and I called Luke and I said, "We have a problem. We're sending all this money and all this social media, and nothing is happening." We went to the hangar hangout, and that was the first time I had talked to Roddy, but I hadn't met him. But I met him there, and in 30 minutes of conversation, with knowing what we have written checks for, seeing what the results we got from it, listening to Roddy and saying, "This is what you could do, this is what you do." I left there and I called Luke and I said, "This is the guy right here. This is what we need to do, and I wish we could back up and take some of this money that we put other places and we put it into Roddy." And I can tell you, it's just been daylight
To be clear,
and
you mean
dark.
Roddy's team.
Yeah.
Roddy's team.
The
Give me
Roddy
back.
team.
Merit Productions. That is absolutely correct. And the time that we've spent together since then with the different benefits and the different things we've done, absolutely understanding our mission and being able to work with us the way that you do. And Luke has always been mission driven. I mean, even when he was a little kid, it actually caused him some hard times in school and different things like that, because he was not afraid at all to speak his opinion, and he had things that he wanted to do, and he would share them with people. Everybody didn't want to hear that, but now we come up and it is so satisfying to be in a small town. Everybody knew us growing up. Everybody knew Luke. And now for my son to be retired, move back to Lexington, have a factory, have a warehouse, have a business together, and being able to do all this together. And all of it is teamwork, whether it's with Casey and Don and Jeff and Steve and Luke and Merit Productions. It's all coming together. And like I said, that's true. It has been 3-4 years in the planning, 3-4 years working on it, but it is starting to fold together because of the relationships we make, the groups we come around with, whether that's Fifth Squad with what they've done, the Gary Sinise Foundation, John's Mission, RWB. Everything that we've done is just slowly molding, that thing that we need to make us successful. But it's Luke's drive. I mean, Luke is our CEO. I mean, he's the man. I can tell you what, there's several times that Luke's had to bring me back because I've seen the money going out. I hadn't seen money coming in. And I'm going, I just don't know that this is going to be there. And Luke says, just be patient. Be patient. We meet more people, things change, and it starts to work.
Yeah. I could tell when I first met you guys, which you were kind of in a situation, and it's a conversation we have. I mean, it's daily now, and we have it around our office, and it's I can't tell you how many people we meet, and I tell people it's become one of my side quests, because it was never something that I felt like I needed to do or I had to do, and now I feel responsible because I'm in the marketing agency space. I'm in that. And even though that we're very much different than a lot of people that are out there, I almost feel like I have to kind of right the wrongs of my peers a little bit, not to scold them. I'm not out there going, this guy's bad, don't do business with him, do business with me. I'm not doing that, but I'm going, well, we have to offer fair pricing, and we have to be honest, and we have to be true to it. And I do that because every day I meet somebody like you guys that say, we spent thousands of dollars with people and we got nothing from it. And I'm just like, why though? Like, why does it have to be that way? I still hadn't figured that question out, but I could feel when I met you guys, there was a hesitancy, and I walked away from that conversation. I was like, they're not going to work with me. They've been burned. They're not going to do it. So when you guys gave me the chance, and Luke was like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to give you a month, but if I don't see anything, I'm probably going to walk. And I just told him, I was like, well, you're not going to see anything. I said, we'll do it. And we worked really hard to try and make that happen, but it didn't happen. You know, you paid me my month fee, and
No,
you didn't make.
I'm gonna interrupt you.
Okay.
It did happen.
Eventually.
It happened exactly like you said it would happen.
Right. But it didn't happen within the month.
Yeah, but I mean, who am I? Who am I? I'm not a social media guy. I don't know what a realistic timeline is.
right.
What I needed was somebody to be honest and say, I can do this.
That's correct.
And it will take this long.
Someone to do exactly what they said they would do.
Exactly.
Like grow with you. Like you know how many times we got that line? Oh, we'll scale with you. We'd love to grow with you. Start off small and boom, 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 and the next thing you know, it's like, oh, just give us $40,000. It's like, okay, yeah, let me just pull that right off the tree or whatever. Like so for someone to do the things coming from the guy that used to create very half-assed content for this company, you guys. The work you guys do is absolutely polished, and you do it every day.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, to understand just an inkling of how much energy that takes and how much how much of a creative drain that can be.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say that it's been nothing but a pleasure to work with y'all because we have actual content now. Like it's not like you're not selling me some high giz. Oh hey, this is going to draw your customers in, and we'll know exactly
Impressions
when.
and data.
Yeah,
and-
all this
Try our
nonsense,
blueprinting
analytics
model.
that no small business can really make good on anyway. You know what I mean? So that was my thing. Is just it was incredible to meet you guys and to watch you guys kind of take over and hit the nines on the content that we wanted, for our company and our product.
Yeah, and something you don't know, but some behind the scenes Cody can tell you is like there's been days where I've told him, I'm like, hey, I don't want to focus on that right now. I want to focus on ways that this is fixing to blow up. This is fixing to happen.
Heard it plenty of times.
And I'm not saying that because you're sitting in the room. I'm
Right.
telling you now after the fact because you kind of in the industry we're in and what we do, you have stuff that you have to do that you don't necessarily want to do. And then there's stuff that you want to do that you don't get to do. So when a company comes in and goes, hey, we want you to do this, or we would like this video, or can you create this, or can we go this direction? They give you a little nugget, and then they go, okay, just go do it however you want to. That is such a blessing in disguise because you gave me just recently you gave me a dream that you had about this video or whatever, and I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool idea. And you kind of told me, like you told your wife, you're like, this may be stupid. That was like what he prefaced it with, and I'm like, that's not stupid. It's actually a really good idea. I like it. The challenge was there's a lot of companies out there that they'll take a football or another drink or whatever, and it's like the same. We call it a match cut video. So it's like the can sits on the table, and the next person gets in it, and it transitions over from one scene to the next. Kind of the idea that you pitched me was to do that with multiple people that represented each service that the cans represent. And I was like, okay, yeah, I think we can do that. And we kind of hung up the phone, and I was like, shit, they're all different colors. How am I going to do that? And that's where, when you have a talented team, you can go to them and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. And Cody's like, well, how are we going to do that? And I'm like, that's your job. But we soundboard it, but it was like, it's altered a little bit, but it's still got that same idea to it, and that's fun. Like that's a blessing to have a company that you can kind of do that with, and also to kind of see the growth, and be part of that. And you guys are one of a few other companies that we've actually have done the same thing. They're like, hey, we want this, and we want you to come in and help us with this, and they'll give us some ideas and things like that to kind of mix some stuff up. But they, for the most part, they let us just have at it. Yeah, and it's worked. Like they just trusted us, and we just ran with it, and it's been fun, but it works.
But it worked, and it worked because of you guys, because we have written the check and we have given the content, and then we had to turn around and cut and edit and change everything, and then when it was all said and done, we did everything. Mm-hmm. It's nice to have somebody that works with us.
Yeah,
you got like mindset.
That was confusing. You were talking about before marriage.
Before marriage. Yeah. That is correct. That's what I'm talking about. The man that writes the check. It was money thrown away, totally 100%.
Yeah.
Versus having a company that we can work with, that we give content to, understands our mission, understands what we want to do. If you have a question, you ask it. But then you work with it and you come out with a beautiful finished product.
Yeah.
Even if they threw a camera in your face with no notice whatsoever.
With no notice.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit. So I'm good.
You knew I was upset with that.
Oh yeah, I did. That made it even better. So we for those that don't know, you should go to Waze Energy on social media and follow all their stuff so you can see all this great content we're talking about. But what we were at a car show event, and the guys were there with the drinks and everything, and we were shooting the event already, and I was like, let's kill two birds with one stone. Fifth Squad was there. We wanted to get some Fifth Squad content. Waze was there, energy drinks there, seeing people drink it, pick the drinks up, drink it, and all this kind of stuff. It's what you want to see, right? So I told him, I said, go grab those guys and do an interview, and let's turn it into a reel. That was it. That was all I said, and they went, Cody and Andy went and did their thing.
I want to point out that my daddy doesn't know what a reel is.
I know. That's even better. That's even better.
Wait. Nobody came and said we're going to do a reel. John with Fifth Squad came to the tent and said, come on, we're going to make some money. Well,
I didn't know he said that.
That's exactly
That's
what
so
he
funny.
said. I walk with him thinking I'm fixing to give a sales pitch. Somebody wants to be a distributor for Waze Energy. We turn the corner, they put a mic on my shirt and stick a camera in my face. Said, talk about Waze Energy.
How'd you feel about that interview?
It was horrible.
I thought it was great.
It was great. You guys did when I saw the finished product, but it was like y'all took my face and you took a few of my words and you rearranged everything and you made it good. Hey.
You said all the right things, just not in the right order.
Not in the right order. Really.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in Jackson a couple of days afterwards, or a few days after, and I had thought about it. I went to bed at night, and I can't go to sleep. You can't clear your head because all you think about is, I could have done this. I could have said this. I could have led with this, told the story, explained the mission. I could have done all of those things, and just all of a sudden, out of the blue, bam. And then all I could think was this was a disaster. But you guys pulled it off. You made me look good, and I appreciate it.
You do look good. It was so funny. Luke calls me and goes, yeah, so tell me about this video that you did with Dad.
I knew nothing about it.
He didn't know anything about it other than what he said.
It was nothing for me to brag about.
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell him I did it.
He was upset. He was like, no, tell him not to use that. It was terrible. And Luke's like, he said it's terrible. And I was like, well, let me put something together and just show you, and then we'll decide. 'Cause let's just not scrap it. Let's put together and see what happens. So I had technically not looked at it until that phone call. And I hung up the phone with Luke, and I looked over at Cody and said, you have that footage? Can I see it? So he played me just what you said, just none unedited, nothing. And I go, well, it's not that bad. I was like, we can just rearrange that, put some B-roll in there and call it a day. And sure enough, that's what we did. Yeah. And Yeah, it was just moving a few things around, chopping it up, putting some space in there. And I don't say it like it was like super easy, but it was fairly easy. It wasn't terrible. But I tell people that all the time because everyone goes, "Oh, I'm nervous. I don't want to be on camera. Oh, I can't be on camera, whatever." And I'm like, you say that and you think that because it's not scripted or put together and it's not polished, but most of the time, those are the best ones. And sure enough, like end product, kudos to you, Cody, but the end product of that was like, oh, that is good, man. That is really like Cody went and got the pictures of you guys like hugged up and all that kind of stuff. Like it turned out super good.
Well, I felt so bad afterwards. I was so nervous and upset and mad at myself. And, it bothered me to the point, I talked to Luke and I really wanted to come by and give you some more content.
Yeah.
But
You're always welcome to.
I wasn't welcome to. Y'all had it done. But it turns out you didn't need it. Yeah. You made it look good. Mm-hmm. It was something that me being as upset as I was about how bad I did, these guys made me look good.
Yeah.
And that was good. But that shows you the type work and the quality work that these guys do.
Yeah. And that's another thing, going back to what you said before, is that's a huge thing that a lot of people miss in our industry is they miss knowing who you are. And you can't tell a story. You can't do that. You can't do that without knowing you guys. Like, we know each other. I mean, we're sharing bourbon together, and we go out to eat together. We hang out. We know each other. But that's what you got to do. You can't market somebody you don't know. I mean, you just can't. You can't sell a product that you don't know what it is or who it's about or any of that kind of stuff. And so many people miss that. And I've tried to make it part of what we do is you got to know people. You got to know who they are. You got to know what they're about, what they represent, what kind of people they are. Because at the end of the day, you don't know who they are, and you're trying to put this content together, and you'll screw around and waste a ton of time, and the next thing you know, you're losing the client. And not say that that's not going to happen or it's always going to happen, but it is. It's the difference between the companies that we work with that are super successful and growing like you guys and the ones that don't is the communication. And the fact that we all communicate on a regular basis is very key and important. And I think that that's why it's a little bit easier to believe in the mission and to help you guys grow is because
and be excited about making content.
Yeah, because your energy is
such a
our
departure
energy.
from the norm. Like you don't have, as a company, such access to such. You know what I mean? Like we don't have this access with, like you guys give us such access to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's actually like you swim through so much nonsense out there where it's just like we were so unhappy with some of the other products that we had because it was so generic kind of.
Felt empty.
Yeah, exactly. It's like drink ways. It's patriotic. It was so like Chad. It was like the Chad of veteran products. So it's like to see how to be able to increment to such a level with you guys is such a boon and such a gift. So I wanted to say thanks. That's awesome.
I would also like to say that this is kind of starting to sound like a commercial for Merit Production.
Yes.
However, we were brought in. Y'all asked us to come in and do this to talk about the decisions that we made as a company to get to where we are. Right. This wasn't to come here and talk about Merit, but just credit where credit's due. We would not be who we are without y'all, right? This wasn't planned, but it is all very true. It is all very relevant. If you've never worked with anybody like Merit Productions and you're a business owner, you really don't know what you're missing. Y'all have taken it to the next level. You have given us friendship, professionalism. Everything that you do is top notch. We wouldn't have it any other way. And we greatly appreciate everything that y'all have brought to our brand. We wouldn't be here without you.
And a freedom to do what we want with our time for our business because we can trust you with our image and our product,
Yeah. I think for me, and I hope it's this way for the rest of the team. We haven't really talked about it, but it is. You guys I have some companies that I really want to work with, and I find them and I go, I want to work with them. And these guys know it because I'll come to them and I'll say, hey, we're going to work with them. And the reason I say that and I do that is because there are some people that I have a passion for what they do. Veterans obviously is one of the big ones. It's why I got involved with the CAF in the first place. Was the commemorative Air Force is every day. It's really a fight. What they're doing is to preserve the history of our country and the veterans and the people that fought for our country in World War II, and what a pivotal time that was. And for me, a guy that's fixing to be 43 years old, I've lived 43 years in freedom because there's guys out there fighting so that I don't have to go fight. Yeah. There's guys out there that fly across the world and go fight and then come home, and nobody acts like they really care. So for me, like, the mission is the mission is important, and that's kind of why we want to be excellent at what we do, is because you guys have done what you do. So I feel like I kind of owe it to you to be the best that we can be. No pun intended.
We appreciate it, and I feel like you can say that all day long, but I've seen how you represent your other clients and everything else too, and I know good and damn well that that's the same privilege you offer to all of them. So we appreciate it. We appreciate the honesty and everything else.
So to kind of wrap up, we got about 10 more minutes here. I want to talk about the mission behind Waze a little bit. And more than just like we give 10% to whoever. I want to talk about a little bit about, obviously you started this because you have military background and that sort of thing, but I want to talk about that mission being, we've discussed this some too. We try to stay mission forward about what the brand represents and what it's for. A little different than a lot of other energy drinks out there, but not just energy drinks, but just beverages and consumables in general. How hard has it been for you to, at the end of the day, and maybe you want to talk about this because you do write a lot of the checks and stuff, but how hard is it to sit back and go, like you just recently, you guys have had a good pop here with Nunley helping you out and everything. How hard is it for you to sit back and go, hey, this is the mission. Does anybody care? Or do you think that it's what's really driving the company? Because we've talked a lot about the marketing and what we do and it being professional and stuff like that. But do you think that people are truly concerned about the mission, or do you think that it's just a warm and fuzzy behind what you do?
I think there's a real hunger out there for products right now that are socially conscious, like that.
Purposeful.
What are you getting for your $350 that you're paying for this energy drink? Are you getting a guy jumping a motorbike over the moon, or an enduro bike over the moon, or something that's going to give back to that community? And I think there's a big hunger for that right now. And obviously with veterans and first responders, we're seeing a lot of success with that, but it's not so much that people don't care. It's just, a lot of people get lost in the noise and the hustle and bustle of the big money, American dream kind of nonsense out there,
I don't think it was hard at all. I think it's the easiest decision that we make every day. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's why we do it. And we don't do it because of who we are. We do it because of the experiences that we've had, the friendships that we've had, the friendships that we've lost. That's why we do it. That's the easiest decision every day. Mm-hmm. The hard part is making it work. Finding a way to do it where we're not just tanking. We give away a lot of product, a lot of finances, and a lot of time.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know how else to say it. It's the easiest decision we make every day. It's what the brand is. The brand wouldn't exist without it.
Right.
We had a lot of naysayers in the beginning. A lot of people, and me and Daddy were talking about this earlier today. It's like, oh, you're starting an energy drink in 2022. How are you going to compete with Monster and Red Bull and Celsius and all these others? And the answer was always easy. We're not. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to do something new. And yes, there's other brands And there's other brands that I could speak very highly of that are doing what we're doing, but we're us, and we're doing it in a different way, or we're doing it in different ways. So it's we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going anywhere. We're going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to expand the support that we're offering to the people that we're offering it to. I don't know how much more. I don't know how much more personal I can get to it than that.
Yeah.
But it means the world to us, and we're here to stay.
Yeah.
Just wait till you see.
Yeah.
Well, we came to the, when I say we, I'm talking about Luke and I. We came to the point where we were at the end of his career in the military. And Luke has, we've got Waze Energy going, and we're working at it, and we're doing different things. And Luke gets offered a career that was very lucrative. And actually, he went against me looking at it from a finance standpoint, from a family standpoint, from what he was sacrificing for, and Luke put everything into Waze Energy. So there's no way I'm going to sit here, if there's any way that I can do it, and let Waze Energy fail, because he has absolutely sacrificed so much for this company. And I know he is 100% into it. He's absolutely for the mission. And otherwise, he would have done what I would have done and gone for the money and gone the other way, gone the comfortable route, gone the easy route. And he didn't take that. And he didn't take that because he believes in the mission.
I would also say that based on kind of the experiences that I've had since leaving the service, one of the things that we've talked about in our mission is, boy, wouldn't it be great if we could someday be an employer of veterans and first responders and be a major because I could tell you it's not easy out there right now in the job market, like just getting the straight answer from a, like you might put your resume out there and get, trash emails in response. That's how bad it is. So like when you're not in the private sector already, you're at even more of a disadvantage. Veterans are like the third or fourth most underemployed out there, in the demographics. So it's incredibly tough at 40 years old to throw away all the experience you have because it doesn't fit in a nice,
Right.
neat corporate sector.
Yeah.
So that was one of the callings we kind of felt like, wouldn't it be awesome if we made a company that could help someone not go through what I went through and what, like in the transition from, service, whether it be veteran or first responder, and moving on to that second stage in your life when you need a career that's more, I don't know, family friendly after, like 20 years of war.
Right.
So that was a big factor in kind of what we would like to grow into,
Yeah.
Yeah. One of our big things too is we're kind of leaning into a lot. We have never been the company that tells people what we're going to do. We spend time showing you what we are doing well before we talk about it. And I'm here to tell you that what's going to happen over the next several years is going to be very impactful, to say the least, at a much larger scale than Lexington, Mississippi.
Right.
So it's we have a lot planned. We have a lot we want to do with people like Merit Productions on board, with people like Justin Nunley coming in and helping us. The sky's the limit. I don't know if the sky's the limit. I don't know where the limit is, but we're gonna find it.
Yeah. Yeah. And to piggyback off that, it's true because through you guys, I've been able to help groups like Fit Squad and some others, and it's those touch points of like you have passion for people and things like that, and I don't think that there's enough people that have an appreciation for what not just the military. Obviously, I think about I'm 43, and there's plenty of guys that that I mean they graduated or they were like close to graduating, and then they went and fought. And I know when they were there because I was a freshman in college, and I know what happened my freshman year of college. To know that those guys are getting out now and retiring, and it's just like, that's all you know. Mm-hmm. And no one understands that. No one has a care in the world. They're just like, get out there and go to work.
A generational war.
And I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? Do you know, like, have you sat down and like talked to these people and like what they saw? You have no clue. I don't have a clue. I can't even imagine that stuff. Like, I've talked to guys and they're like, oh yeah, we were at this place and this, that, and the other happened. I'm like, dude. And so, not to be cliche, but to you guys, we do appreciate your service.
Oh, for sure.
And sacrifice. And so we're out of Pappy. So with that, I'm going to say thank you, gentlemen. And appreciate you guys being here. It was a lot of fun. We look forward to the future. We've got tons of stuff planned and a lot of fun adventures on the horizon. And if half of them happen, we'll look back and go, how did we do all that stuff? So thank you guys so much.
I'd like to say one more thing, if you don't mind.
Oh gosh.
If you're a business owner and you don't have somebody like Merit Pros in your pocket, go find somebody like that. If you want to support veterans and first responders, reach out to somebody like Fist Squad. Fist Squad is a phenomenal organization out of Mississippi. They could definitely use your support, and the stuff that they do with your support will blow your mind. Outside of that, there's tons of nonprofits out there. Mission Vigilant for the 22, John's Mission for the 22, Team RWB, FHO out of Texas, Gary Sinise Foundation. Find somebody that supports what you support and get involved with them. And we appreciate your support.
If they want to get some Waze Energy, how do they do that?
Tell them.
Oh man, if you're not in Mississippi or Arizona, you're gonna have to go out to www.wazeenergy.com. We ship everywhere in the U.S. except for Alaska and Hawaii. We love you, Alaska and Hawaii. It just costs us more to ship the product than the product is worth. And I'm sorry. I hope that changes as we get distribution. If you're a distributor and you would like to carry Waze Energy, please reach out to us. We can easily make that happen.
If you're in Missouri, just literally call me. I'll hunt you down. All right? I'll find you.
It's going to happen. We're going to see it in a lot more stores, I think, really soon. So thank you guys again so much. Y'all are friends. It's always good to have friends, and makes podcasts a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
So thanks, guys, so much. Stay tuned. Next time we are going to have Justin. I think his last name is Sebring. Justin Sebring. Anyway, Justin.
Good old Lucid Inc.
Justin of Lucid Inc. is going to be on the next podcast.
That should be a fun one.
And should be a lot of
Awesome dude.
Yeah.
Awesome dude.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
We love
looking forward
Justin.
to it. All right. Thanks again, guys.